Hey, good afternoon. So I just wanted to maybe build upon the message that I sent out earlier this week. We had the opportunity to dig a little into trauma as a concern, and I provided you a little bit of perspective with the trauma curve, and also, really importantly, normalizing the conversation around what we as a collective humanity have been experiencing for the last 19 months. And of course, there's going to be individual reactions and opportunities to grow, to learn, as well as to have a lot of compassion when things go up and down in your energy, in your emotional state, your mental awareness of what it is that you need and letting that in. So that's where I'd like to just build upon moving into that post-traumatic growth and recovery, and spend a little bit of time as well talking about what I mentioned was this great resignation phenomenon that is occurring in many spaces around the world, certainly in the United States, over the course of the last year and a half, where many people are taking inventory of their energy, their time, their sense of fulfillment, of being in a place where they feel like they are living into their values. And for many, that means maybe moving on from a job or a role that no longer meets their needs, whatever those may be. And I was thinking about this today in relationship to burnout, to building resiliency, and that being a piece and part, absolutely, of us moving into this post-traumatic growth and recovery reconstruction phase of our lives. So with burnout, historically, when we've thought of it, we think of the fatigue, we think of the exhaustion that goes with it, that can be somewhat ameliorated when you change your circumstances, when you find yourself working with a team or working on a different project, something that energizes you. And for many, that is the way out of burnout. But the burnout that we've been dealing with over the last year and a half is a little bit different. There are elements of that. But I think that what's useful is also maybe bringing in that conversation around, rather than it being the great resignation, maybe it's the great inventory taking. Maybe it's where we as a collective are slowing down enough and giving ourselves permission, ourselves and each other, the opportunity to reflect and to perhaps take stock of what's working, what's not, and maybe what would work better. Not everybody is in a position where they can change jobs or change where they live. That's really quite a luxury, right? We know that's true. But I feel like there are many that are having this conversation with themselves, with their friends and their family, and they are taking a good hard look at their lives. So, the great inventory taking. There is a terrific skill and scale that we can look at, and that is utilizing the Maslow burnout inventory. So it was developed to help better assess in a qualitative way where we may be at with regards to our awareness of what is it, our experience of that may be contributing to burnout, and what's not burnout at all. Maybe it's other issues altogether. So the Maslow, M-A-S-L-A-C-H, burnout inventory. So check that out for yourselves as part of your inventory taking. Where are you in your world with your values, your need for time in your lives, for self, for family, for other than work? I was reading an article today that I thought put it quite well, and I know this has been true for myself, that when we internalize capitalism, our worth and our self-identity gets very wrapped up in our work and the job that we do. Is that true for you? So maybe acknowledge this as well and take a look at it. How much of your worth and of your value do you tether to your job and to your work? So that's just, again, something to reflect upon and know if that is all right with you. Is it maybe that you need to have an awareness of it, and so that you keep a balance of, I am enjoying what I'm doing currently and I want to keep doing it, but maybe I also need to acknowledge that I need to balance it a little bit with a little bit of me time. And it is starting to rain. And so I am going to take you with me underneath this little portico. Welcome to the fall in the Pacific Northwest. I love it. So yeah, as we talk about this, I think the thing that I want to make sure we're discussing is, where are you with regards to taking inventory? How much of it is in need of adjustment? Maybe doing something like this Maslow burnout inventory scale to just get another qualitative view of where you're at. And also maybe take some time to speak about it and journal, to again capture where your thoughts are today, maybe reflect upon them on a regular basis and see whether there's some adjustments that may be helpful. So with all of that, I think that the goal here is simply to bring awareness to where we are in our overall balance of work, of being, of life, and of self-care. How much time are we making for fun, for hope, for energizing ourselves with things that we are looking forward to, and, oh yeah, this word, joy. Where's the joy in your life? So I was talking to a family member today. She was sharing that she's finding a lot of hope around what's coming for herself, what's coming for her family, her children. And that's really motivating and keeping her going during this particular tough time, this draining time right now. Just she intuitively knew and does acknowledge that hope is what's bringing her forward. So what are you hopeful about? And what brings you moments of joy now? Not in the future, but now. Little things. What brings you joy? And maybe remember that there's sympathetic joy. When you yourself maybe are feeling a bit low, that maybe you can find happiness by celebrating something that's good for another. When somebody else is feeling happy and is taking the time to share something that is good in their lives, enjoy that with them and have that little bit of sympathetic joy with them so that you can get a little boost of oxytocin yourself and dopamine. So we're letting in the good. We're finding things to energize ourselves that are giving us hope and little moments of joy, acknowledging that this is a really good time to take stock of our lives and trying to bring balance, and reflecting upon where can we find a little room, a little time, if needed. So with that, I wish you sparks of joy. I wish you reflection that is productive, and let your curiosity guide you in bringing you a greater state of overall balance in your life. It's not just about work and it's not just about play. It's about finding that balance for ourselves, whatever that may look like. So integration, not 50-50, but integration. With that, I wish you a terrific week, and I'll see you next Sunday.